This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, Franklin County. Diana Zinel here from the Franklin County Chamber of Commerce. Another in our long series of interviews that we've been doing while we all have to social distance, and trying to let people know some of the things that are happening in Franklin County. Something that's been happening in Franklin County before COVID, but it takes on a maybe deeper meaning now, is something called the Future of Work Advisory Committee, that was really convened by Dr. Yves Salomon-Fernandez from GCC in conjunction with a bunch of great businesses, including Bete Fog Nozzle. We're joined today both by Yves and Tom Fitch, the president of Bete Fog Nozzle, to talk about this group that I am so honored to be a part of. The flow of ideas and energy when we're together is really just incredible. So Yves, I wondered if you would maybe talk a little bit about the group, why you formed it, and then we can talk a little bit about the mission maybe together.
It sounds great. Well, we formed this group, as you know, Diana, because we saw a need in the community and in talking to leaders like Tom. And Tom was such a catalyst for really pushing us and getting us to get started, saying, we have current needs, but we're also looking at 2, 3, 5 years down the line. And we were wondering, how can the college be of most help? How can we update our curricula? How can we develop programs that can support the local businesses, support their current, the way that they are currently doing their businesses, their processes, but also with an eye towards the automation that they are beginning, and some of them are further down the line in adapting. And we wanted to update our curricula to be relevant, to be appropriate for them, not just for new people coming into their businesses, the talent that they need right now, but also as they look at the retiring population and the skills that they'll need, and the folks who are also in the workforce, how do we help them upskill and reskill? So Tom was a leader, has been a leader, and such a driving force behind this group. And I can turn it over to him and he can give us a little bit more context, and also why he wanted to form this group along with you, Diana, and other folks who've been a critical part of this across the different industries in our region.
Tom, before you get started, it might be good for you to say a little bit about Bete Fog Nozzle too, because you're just a really important part of the manufacturing fabric up here with this really incredible global reach. So it might also help people understand why you have such a vested interest in this.
Thanks, Dana, and thank you so much for having us here today and talking about this really important topic of how to shape the future of work. Bete Fog Nozzle, we're 160 employees working to provide spray solutions, heavy engineering focus, and companies come to us when things aren't going exactly how they want it to be, and we're problem solvers. We're collaborative problem solvers here, and we just have a tremendous team of people that address industrial problems, whether it is in the petrochemical industry, pollution control, food industry, transportation, you name it, we probably have products there. We've got products that are deep under the sea, as well as products that go into outer space as well. So that's what we do here, and it's a lot of fun working with so many talented people in the industrial park in Greenfield, Massachusetts. The Future Work Advisory Committee, once I met Yves, got a chance to just see the energy that she brought to the college. We engaged in some terrific conversations. It started with a plant tour as we were walking through and showing what we're trying to do and where we're going with the organization. And it's not just about Bete, it's about the opportunity to fill the Pioneer Valley with safe and purposeful employment for a stronger community. So we want to bring all the businesses together, as well as the support groups. The employment career centers, as well as the chambers of commerce, as well as the college, to understand how we can collaborate, work together to provide these training opportunities. Now, for a number of years now, we've been involved in the fourth industrial revolution, and it's really had a huge impact. Some really amazing things are taking place. The access that we have to digital today is unprecedented. It also creates significant perils, especially for people in lower income demographics. And we want to be able to support businesses all throughout the Pioneer Valley by having trained employee base, as well as provide these life-sustaining jobs. Otherwise, change happens, and we don't want people to be left behind. You know, the World Economic Forum has put out a study that said basically 2/3 of the kids in elementary school today are going to be entering into a job that doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
They also talk about how millennials, 2/3 of them aren't going to stay in the same job or stay with the same company for 5 years. In fact, over the next decade, 5 years is the average that people are going to be staying within their jobs. So to deal with this, we have to have really rapid, flexible, but still highly tailored training programs to help employees get to where they can be successful in adding value to the organizations, and where the businesses can bring them on quickly to be able to compete in our very competitive global environment that we have. So it's also not just about the technical training, but the life skills training. So as automation and we get more digital, human contact and these human connections matter more and more and more. So to be able to provide those types of trainings as well is going to be critical. So the Future Work Advisory Committee, in partnership with GCC, the Chambers of Commerce, the career centers, we are a broad group of businesses. We have hospitals and banks, manufacturing companies, service, technology companies, and hospitality companies all coming together and talking about what we need. So what is it that the businesses see is coming? And it's not just about now, but it's about what the future is. When we first started talking, we were looking at 3% or so unemployment rates. And then since then, coronavirus has actually accelerated this need, because now Franklin County hit nearly 14% unemployment in April. So we need to get together with even greater urgency to find these opportunities, because the economy will rebound. COVID-19 will pass. I'm optimistic that the social issues that we have out there, that we will come together as this country has before to find solutions. It's always hard. Change is very, very difficult, but I'm optimistic that we will be back on track and the economies will recover. And we want to be ready for that in Franklin County with a trained workforce to make it happen. So that's why I'm excited to be part of it. Really excited to work with yourself, work with Yves, and as you said, the meetings are just a great flow of energy, new ideas coming out of each and every one. So that's why I'm so pleased to be part of things.
Yeah, the meetings are really great, and you touched on some of the different groups that are there. So I'm not the only chamber that's there. Amherst Chamber comes, Northampton Chamber comes. So this is very much something that's got a regional feel and a regional effect, which I always love being part of that type of stuff. And then the employment boards, and there's some staffing agencies and the other sectors that you mentioned. Manufacturing, hospitality, all of that. It's just so important to bring everybody together, because no one stands alone here. And so this has really just been such a great, I really look forward to the meetings. We have one next week, I think.
That's right.
And which we'll have to do digitally, but that's okay. But they really are really terrific, and you're absolutely right about the different ideas that come from some of those, even things that, you know, how we prepare young people. You know, you were talking about the people skills or the soft skills, how we prepare them to, you know, be ready to get a job. So it has been just a great honor to be part of all of that. So we were working on all of these things and talking about all of these things, and then everything changed. And I think you're right. I think we will get back to where we were, and I think that we'll, you know, recover and ultimately be okay. But some things might change. And, you know, one of the things that they're talking about, I'm hearing a lot of talk about this, even at the national level, is that they think that people might actually migrate to more rural areas from cities or more congested locations. Franklin County might really be the benefactor of that. You know, we've struggled with population here. We've struggled with attracting young people to live here or keeping young people here. And, you know, this might be something that ultimately helps us and helps businesses like yours, Tom, find new talent. And, you know, I think that this could be a really good thing. And I suspect it's something that this committee will now spend a great deal of time talking about.
Yeah.
I'm sure you do at the college as well, Yves.
Yeah, I think we'll see that telecommuting is going to change the job market and how people work. So I think what we are seeing right now is a phenomenon or a trend that is not going to go away. And when you look at businesses, they can achieve a level of productivity and efficiency at a much lower cost if they are not renting businesses or they are not paying for the maintenance and cooling and heating of businesses. So I think we can start preparing ourselves for some of those changes to happen. And I also want to pick up on something that Tom had said. He said, we really need to look at the people who are not going to have jobs and the people who are low income and the low skilled, because in all of this that is happening, the acceleration that we are seeing to automation is that the people who are low skilled, who are low income, are going to be most adversely impacted. So I think, you know, in taking a regional perspective, we also need to look at how do we help those people build the skills, and having folks like yourself, Diana, and Tom inform us and guide us at the college to say, this is what we need, this is what the businesses need, this is how the college can best support them. I think that's also helpful. And certainly, as you mentioned, having new populations coming in will help us significantly. I think we're still going to see healthcare continuing to have a significant impact in terms of being a major proportion of the workforce composition here in Franklin County, and also manufacturing. Both Franklin County and Hampshire County, I don't think people realize that we have such internationally renowned companies that do work across a number of industries, whether it's marine, aerospace, and you know, airlines, etc. All of the things that they do that is so pervasive across our region, just the greater Pioneer Valley. So I'm excited for the influx of folks that we're getting, and certainly quality of life and cost of living, you get a bargain in our region compared to the eastern part of the state.
For sure. And there's just nowhere that's more beautiful to live.
Exactly.
That's for sure. You know, yeah, you know, it's really interesting. Eve and I spend a lot of time visiting businesses together, and did we go to Tom's together? I know I've been to Bete Fog. I think we were together.
Yeah, we probably did. Yeah, I've visited Tom so often that I can't even remember anymore.
I know. There's been a lot of them, but it is always completely amazing to me what is happening here. And I would say, obviously in Franklin County, but really even Western Mass as a whole, the manufacturing is really tremendous. It's such a huge part. And a lot of people just have no idea really what's going on with that. They just sort of unassumingly do this work with this global reach, you know, in these small buildings, or, you know, people would just never know. So it's really, really terrific. So it's really great to have Tom really spearheading this, which is what you're doing, Tom. Tom really directs the conversation at the meetings, and you do a great job. So I just thought it was really important for people to hear that this is happening, because there's no way that most people would know that these industry leaders and people from, you know, like you say, chambers and employment boards and things are really working on this and focusing on this and trying to steer it in the right direction. And I think that it's working. I think that the people that are working on this are really committed, and there's a lot of energy and a lot of knowledge. And it's just such a positive thing for this whole region. So I really thank GCC for convening it, and Tom for really steering us and really keeping us on track. We have fairly regular meetings, and it's a big group of people to get together. So it's pretty impressive, actually, to have everybody showing up at the table, because I think everybody's committed to this. Is there anything either?
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
Has been fantastic, and for the most part, people are able to make their calendars work to be here. It's an hour once a quarter that we get together and talk as a whole group. I've been in contact with others on a much more frequent basis than that, as we keep discussing between the meetings what the opportunities are, so that we come to the meetings more prepared. And I believe the group is always smarter than the individual, and the more people we get together, the more minds we bring together, the better solutions we're going to have. So, you know, if other people, we want to hear from you. If you have ideas, if you have suggestions, then please reach out to us, and let's have a conversation so that we can make this community, which I'm very pleased to have been born and raised here, and so happy to have the opportunity to continue working here, and want to provide that same chance for others as well. So let us know your thoughts.
I want to add two things quickly. One is that we do have our local banks that participate in these discussions, and it's so important to have them there, because our local banks are really phenomenal in supporting the business community, and they're just invaluable. And so having them at the table, and the
college, yeah, we wouldn't have our internship program without the support of Greenfield Savings Bank, and we also have First Tech, which is also a very supportive bank, and of course Greenfield Cooperative Bank, that are also very supportive of the college.
Yep, and very active in this group, and that's really that's a really important group of people to have at the table. And so, you know, I just want to recognize, you know, their commitment to this group as well. And then I had something else that, sorry, go ahead.
For this community, we are so fortunate to have the banks through the crisis and the payroll protection programs that were out there. I heard some great stories. Our experience with Greenfield Savings Bank couldn't have gone better. And it's part of the reason why we're able to keep going and continuing to serve our customers and keeping our employees going, is because of the strength of the banking organization that we have here. And entrepreneurs from other parts of the country, I think, have heard or I've read about their stories of trying to get into the banks and trying to get their paperwork done. And there are just many horror stories out there. We are just so fortunate to have this group of financial institutions in our area helping businesses out.
Absolutely, they're terrific. The one other thing I wanted to mention is that from this big idea, I think that we'll see some smaller ideas as well. I know I've been talking with the folks in your workforce development offices, Yves, about an idea we have of something sort of a little smaller, maybe a little bit more practical application of some of what we're talking about and hearing about at this meeting. But I think that it will spur a lot of other, you know, some energy and some programs and things like that. So there's just a lot of really great things coming of this. So I really, like I said, I'm honored to work with both of you on this, and just can't wait to see how, you know, what we're able to sort of brainstorm and put together. And to serve our area and the businesses and the college and all of the things that we love so much and the reasons that we all live here. So it's really important. Anything you want to add, Yves?
Well, I just want to say to conclude that as people experience unemployment or underemployment, to remember that the college works collaboratively with the unemployment office, and we also have a number of trainings in upskilling, reskilling, not necessarily a degree, but short-term credentials that folks can get to get them back into the workforce. So do think of the college as you have your different needs. And Diana, I just want to say once again, thank you for having us. And Tom, you're incredible. We appreciate your leadership. I certainly do.
And I will just say that, you know, GCC is so great about working with people because it can be a little bit, you know, daunting to think about going back to school, whether it's for some type of certificate or actually going to complete a degree. And your people are so terrific about, you know, really reassuring you and walking you through the steps of how that happens. So people should really, you know, really be comfortable and think about taking that leap. Now's a great time to do that. So, and Tom, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Did you want to add anything before we wrap up?
No, I really appreciate the opportunity to get the word out and talk about what we're trying to do. And I hope we hear feedback as to how we can do it better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I look forward to seeing you both and everyone else at the table next week, or the digital screen next week, I should say. But it'll be great to get back together and to start talking about this with a little bit of a new lens in light of COVID. So it'll be great. And I'm really grateful to have you both on today. So thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you.
Thank you.